Namaste, dear students. Today I'll be taking a session on the module number 3 in the Constitution of India Professional Ethics and Cyber Law. And the topic election amendments and emergency provisions. What do you mean by election? An election is a formal group decision making process by which a population chooses an individual to hold the public office. As usual, you know that it is usually used in democratic nations. India is a democratic nation, hence we follow routine kind of elections. Elections have been the usual mechanism by which the modern representative democracy has operated since the 17th century. Elections may fill offices in the legislature, sometimes in the executive and judiciary, and for the regional and local government. This process is also used in many other private and business organizations, from clubs to voluntary associations and corporations. The universal use of elections as a tool for selecting representatives in modern representative democracies is in contrast with the practice in the democratic archetype. Ancient Athens, where the elections were not used, were considered an oligarchic institutions, and most political offices were filled using sortition, also known as allotment, by which the office holders were chosen by lot. The electoral reform describes the process of introducing fair electoral systems where they are not in place or improving the fairness of the effectiveness of existing systems. Now we shall see how the electoral process is controlled by election commissions. Any democratic nation's foundation is lying in elections. Articles 324 to 329A deals with various provisions related to elections. To conduct elections, the Constitution of India establishes the Election Commission. The Election Commission consists of a Chief Election Commissioner and such other election commissioners appointed by the President from the time to time. At present, the Election Commission consists of Chief Election Commissioners and two other election commissioners. The status of other election commissions may not be the same as that of the Chief Election Commissioners, but the decision of Election Commission shall be taken unanimously or in case of a difference opinion between CEC and other election commissioners, it may be the majority. Okay. Under the Constitution, the power of the superintendence, direction and conduct preparation of electoral rolls and the conduct of elections to Parliament, state legislatures and offices of the President and Vice President shall be vested with the Election Commission as per the article number 324. For the smooth conduct of elections, the Election Commission can appoint regional election commission. The Election Commission can maintain general electoral roll for every territorial constituency. Every person who is a citizen of India and who has attained the age of 18 years shall be entitled to be registered under the electoral roll. The grounds for excluding from electoral roll is on the basis of non-residence, unsoundness of mind, crime or corrupt or illegal practice as decided by the appropriate legislature. We shall see what are the functions of an election commission. The superintendents direct and control the preparation of election rolls. Second one, to conduct election or by elections for parliament, state assemblies, and the offices of the president and vice president, to receive the petitions challenging the validity of elections and to appoint tribunal to inquire into them, to examine the accounts of election expenses filled by the candidates, to determine the code of conduct to be observed by the candidate at the time of the election. It allows the symbols and accords the recognition for political parties. It also, if the election gets postponed, then countermands election for specific reasons. It tenders advice to the presidents and governors on questions relating to the disqualification of the members of parliament and the state. What is called amendment of the constitution? See, there are occasions in which we see the particular constitution is getting amended, and we have to see what is the reason for such amendments which are occasionally caused. Constitution is the living document. Change is the law of nature. We all know that the change is the rule of nature or the law of nature. The development of society, be it economic, political, social, technological, requires the adaptability within the constitution. If there is no provision for changing the provisions, it may lead for the chaos in the society. Therefore, amendment to the constitution is the method to mold the constitution for changing the requirements of the society. Method amendment varies from constitution to constitution. However, in America, the method of amendment of the constitution is very difficult. It requires calling for the constitutional convention, which is extremely difficult. These constitutions are called the rigid constitutions. However, in the countries like New Zealand, it is easy to amend the constitution as passing of an ordinary law. This is known as a flexible constitution. The makers of Indian constitution want to incorporate neither too rigid nor too flexible methods for amending the constitution. Under the article 368, the constitution following three methods of amendment of the constitution contemplated. The amendment by the simple majority, in which articles of the constitution can be amended just like passing an ordinary law. Amendment by special majority. In this, both houses of the parliament by two-third majority in each house are required to agree for the amendment. All the articles of the constitution except for those mentioned in article 368 will be amended by the special majority. Amendment by the special majority and the ratification by states. There are entrenched articles under the constitution which amended require special majority by the houses of the parliament plus approval by half of the state legislatures. The important constitutional amendments which includes, see, there are some important constitutional amendments which are occurred, which include the 7th Amendment, which has happened in 1956. It abolished the existing classification of three categories of states as Part A, Part B, and Part C prevailed during the pre-independence area. So we had earlier the three category of states, Part A, Part B, Part C, which was completely abolished with the 7th Amendment, which take place in 1956. Next, 9th Amendment 1960, it empowered the central government to cede Indian territory Birbari to Pakistan as provided into Indo-Pakistan Agreement. 10th Amendment 1961, which is nothing but the inclusion of new territories of Dadra Nagar Haveli to the list of union territories in the first schedule. Next one is the 12th Amendment, which is taken place in 1962. It included Goa, Daman, and Diu as union territories in the first schedule. 47th Amendment, which took place in 1956. It inserted three words to the preamble, socialist, secular, and integrity. This amendment tried to five important to directive principles over fundamental rights. It also added a new directives such as free legal aid, worker participation in management of industries, protection and improvement of environment, and safeguarding forest and wildlife. It also added a part 4A to the constitution, adding 10 fundamental duties which we already studied. Power to the Supreme Court to transfer cases from one high court to another. Earlier it was not there. With the amendment, 47th amendment, you could pass the courts from the issues, the cases pending from one high court to the another high court. A new chapter in Constitution which took place with Article 323A and 323B for establishment of administrative tribunals. And for the 44th Amendment, which took place in 1978, with respect to the privileges provided to the members of the Parliament and state legislature under Article 195 and 194. The reference relating to House of the Commons stand deleted. Insertion of new Article 361A giving constitutional protection to publications of proceedings of Parliament and state legislature. Earlier it was not there. So later with the Article 361A, we could get the proceedings of the Parliament and the state legislature. Insertion of clause in Article 74 where President can send back the suggestion for reconsideration of Council of Ministers. Under the Article 352 dealing with the national emergency, the word internal disturbance was substituted by the word armed rebellion. Removal of right to poverty as a fundamental right and converting it as a legal right. 61st Amendment, which took place in 1988, the age of voting is reduced from 21 years to 18 years. Earlier, people had voting power commences at 21 years. Later, with the amendment of 61st, it was brought down to 18 years. That's how you have a privilege of voting at the year of 18. 73rd Amendment in 1992, this amendment provided the composition powers, duties, levy of taxes by Panchayat Raj institutions. 74th Amendment took place in 1992. It inserted the 12th schedule providing for composition, election powers and the duties to the municipals. We shall see what are the functions of an election commission. The superintendents direct and control the preparation of election rolls. Second one, to conduct election or by elections for parliament, state assemblies and the offices of the president and vice president. To receive the petitions challenging the validity of elections and to appoint tribunal to inquire into them. To examine the accounts of election expenses filled by the candidates, to determine the code of conduct to be observed by the candidate at the time of the election. It allows the symbols and accords the recognition for political parties. It also, if the election gets postponed, then countermands election for specific reasons. It tenders advice to the presidents and governors on questions relating to the disqualification of the members of parliament and the state. Local people. So these are the few of the important amendments which took place over the Indian constitution. We'll see how these things will be applied or implemented. So what are the emergency provisions we have? The hallmark of any constitution is that it should be ready to face any contingencies. The makers of Indian constitution provided three types of emergencies. They are national emergency under Article 352, state emergency under Article 356, financial emergency under Article 360. The national emergency can be declared throughout or any part of the territory of India on the grounds of war, external aggression, and armed rebellion. For the declaration of national emergency, all any of these or any one of these need not take place. Even anticipation of the same could be the ground for such declaration. Dear students, you have all witnessed the lockdown during the COVID-19. So this is nothing but, as per Article 352, it is a national emergency declared. So entire the India is under lockdown process, which is it's a major decision taken, and it's a kind of emergency procedure that is applied over India. For declaration of national emergency, all any of these or may any one of these things may not be take place. Even anticipation of the same could be ground for such declaration. That means Article 352, 356, 360, either all this can be put or any one of the which is having a effective can be put on. See how to declare the national emergency. Declaration of national emergency, which could result in the central government can give direction to the states for the closure. The Parliament of India is empowered to make law on any items found in the state list. The revenue distribution between centre and state shall be decided by the union government. The Lok Sabha tenure may be extended by 1 year. All fundamental rights except Article 20 and 21 can be suspended during the national emergency. Namaste, dear students. Today I'll be taking a session on the module number 3 in the Constitution of India Professional Ethics and Cyber Law. And the topic election amendments and emergency provisions. What do you mean by election? Article 45, protection of early childhood care. Article 46, promotion of education and economic interest of weaker sections. Article 12 and Article 338B, National Commission for Backward People. Article 330, reservation of seats for scheduled caste and scheduled tribes in Lok Sabha and state legislature on the basis of the population. Based on the population percentage, the reservation is being provisioned. Article 338 gives us the appointment of National Commission for Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribes, 338A. Okay, supported with that. Okay, with this, I conclude the module number 3, which is nothing but elections, amendments, and emergency. In this particular thing, we have studied what is all about election commission, how we get the amendment of constitution, and why we have to go on amendment to the constitution. And there are some constitutional amendments which took place till date. So we have seen the emergency provisions, how we can handle constitution with emergency, and at last the constitutional special provisions which took place and given a advantage to the nationals of this particular country. Thank you for the patience hearing.